What we're looking at here is the slow, sad death of the Mazda 6 sedan here in North America. It was selling at a good clip back in '05. They brought out the new redesign in the mid 2010s or so, and then it fell from grace from about 60,000 in 2015, and it was discontinued. At least production stopped by the end of 2021. And here we are about 2 years later after the demise of the Mazda 6. And a lot of us are wanting another premium like Mazda sedan. The rumors out of Japan are continually building up about this front engine, rear wheel drive, potentially all wheel drive as well, inline six turbo gentleman sports sedan. Let's get into it. Guys, if you're excited for the Mazda 6, smash the heck out of the like button and make sure you have your snacks and drinks, because after we talk about the Mazda 6 today, we're going to hop on over to the Mini Cruiser and talk about some of the new details coming out of Japan on the baby Land Cruiser. We don't have a new render here. They just changed the color from the last video I made, which I think looks absolutely gorgeous, at least from the front. The back end kind of looks like a liftback. That's what they're saying it's going to be, at least a coupe style sedan where you have the sloping roof line, but we might not have an actual lift back. It kind of like the Toyota Crown that we currently have. So what they just did is they just changed the color on the car here, and of course it's going to look good in every single color because of this render. Obviously these wheels are oversized. These are like 21s or 22s here on the Mazda 6, and their render has nothing to do with this guy, but this is what I would prefer the Mazda 6 to look like, to be honest. The other one looked good. It looks sporty, but this is the Mazda Vision Coupe. And guys, they're calling this Mazda 6 a coupe style sedan. So maybe we do get something with a really long, aggressive hood. And a very, gosh, look at this. I can look at this concept all day. This concept came out maybe in 2017 or something, and we just haven't seen anything happen from it. But I think that, if we had quad tip exhaust on it, it would be amazing as well. The rear end looks very much like the Mazda 3, if you know what I mean. And maybe we'll get a coupe, a true coupe, not a four-door coupe, but a two-door kind of RX rekindling. That would be amazing. But let's get back to the article, because we have some new details here already on the Mazda 6. So they have the CX-60, which I'll see at the Tokyo Mobility Show or the Japan Mobility Show in just about 2-3 weeks from now when I head to Japan in the third week of Japan. We have the CX-90 in the United States. That's our three-row crossover that is selling like hotcakes for them right now. And this is all on its large platform. Rear-wheel drive, inline six, longitudinal engine, plug-in hybrid powertrains. In some markets, you have diesels, turbo diesels, which would be amazing, but obviously it's never going to happen here in America. But the CX-80, which is their three-row, it's going to be a little bit smaller than our CX-90. That's going to be hitting the Japanese market in early 2024. And our version of the two-row large platform vehicle of the CX-60 is called the CX-70, and we're supposed to be getting an announcement in spring of 2024. So that's pretty exciting. I know a lot of you guys don't really need the three rows of the CX-90 and would prefer to spend a little bit less money and get the same sort of luxury experience on a smaller vehicle, which is going to be the CX-70. So we will get an announcement, at least according to this Japanese source, Best Car Web, the best source for upcoming Japanese cars. Spring 2024, mark your calendars. And if that actually happens, then I will, of course, break it to you guys when embargo ends. But they're saying this is all SUVs. Will the Mazda 6, the mid-sized sedan that has been rumored for some time, actually be released? We're going to go back in time here, because they say 2 years ago, before the Crown crossover, which is the Crown that we currently have in our market, which is called a sedan. It's a massive naming. Toyota doesn't really know what it is. So the Crown model that we currently have in the States, before that was announced about 2 years ago, the rumors that Mazda would use the front engine rear wheel drive platform it was developing to share the next Mazda 6 with the new Crown sedan. Now, the new Crown sedan is not going to come to the United States, and that is going to be a true front-engine rear-wheel drive vehicle, mainly, I would expect, only for the Japanese market, unless the Chinese market wants to import it. But that's going to be a plug-in hybrid, I believe, as well as a fuel cell. And they're saying that the Mazda 6 and the Toyota Crown, the sedan, were being in development at the same time. And it was said back 2 years ago that when Mazda was developing this new platform and Toyota needed a new Crown redesign that actually Mazda and Toyota were working together. And I got really excited. I was thinking, hey, maybe we can get an inline six back in the IS for a new redesign, but that never materialized. And all those rumors came crashing down because the Crown and the Mazda 6 are completely, well, as we expect them, are completely different vehicles. And afterwards, he asked people in the development area of Toyota and the manufacturing side, and they all said no. There was never a collaboration between Mazda and Toyota, unfortunately, to create new inline sixes together, new platform for performance rear-wheel drive internal combustion engine cars. It may have been in the talks between Mazda and Toyota at the times, but maybe their visions on electrification were a little bit different at the time as well. They're saying it said that many engineers from Mazda are currently coming to Toyota, but it is not related to the Crown or the front engine rear wheel drive platform. This platform we see on the CX-90 and CX-60 with the straight six engine was originally developed for the next Mazda 6. But due to the global trend of luxury SUVs, the SUV was first developed. You got to follow the money. You can't follow the niche. And the niche right now is premium sedans. Absolutely. Lexus killed off their GS for that reason. Mazda doing the right thing, business sense, money sense, to have 4 different vehicles that are on this platform that are all SUVs throughout the global market. Now, obviously only 2 for North America and the other 2 smaller variants for Japan. They're saying it is a public fact that only the Crown sedan scheduled to be announced in November 2023 around the Tokyo Mobility Show will have a front engine rear wheel drive system, but it is using the GAL platform, which the current LS, the current LC, the Mirai, use that setup. He says 100% there's no talk of Toyota and Mazda collaborating to create a sedan with a front engine rear wheel drive setup and a straight 6 engine. Now they say Mazda's kind of following suit with BMW and their straight 6s. Mercedes ditched their V6 for a straight 6, and Mazda wants to have that premium setup as well going forward with the Mazda 6. This paragraph raises a bunch of flags. It really doesn't gel with the rest of this article, saying that this new platform was designed with the Mazda 6 originally in mind, and then SUVs took its place because of their importance in profitability in today's market. But they're saying that actually the Mazda 6 might skip this platform and potentially use its new EV scalable architecture, which is strange. But if it's, if that architecture is able to fit vertically and horizontally, well, it means longitudinally, so front engine rear wheel drive sort of setup, and it can actually accommodate horizontal engines like a front wheel drive setup. That just sounds too good to be true, and there's probably a reason that no one really has a platform like that. But they're saying in any case, it is certain 100% that the drive system of the Mazda 6 will be front engine and rear wheel drive, or front engine rear wheel drive bias all wheel drive system that we have in the CX-90, for example. We don't have a CX-90 in rear wheel drive, even though I think in with the diesel setups over in the UK and other markets that they actually have a rear wheel drive Mazda CX-60 turbo diesel. So it can absolutely be done, and you would better expect that this Mazda 6 will absolutely have a rear wheel drive setup that will cost less money than the all-wheel drive model. So here are the powertrains. And just keep in mind, we wouldn't see all these powertrains for America. I think the shoe-ins are going to be the 3.3 liter turbo gasoline engine. I wish turbo diesel, but the 3.3 liter turbo engine, mild hybrid that we currently have on the CX-90. I think the plug-in hybrid is also probably a lock for this Mazda 6. So about 330 horsepower or so, if I remember, on the plug-in hybrid, and it's going to give you about 40 miles of EV range. And then the mild hybrid inline 6 is going to have the 8-speed auto. Both of them have 8-speed autos, but it'll have about 340 horsepower potentially on the higher tuned models, and all-wheel drive as well as an option on both powertrains. But they're saying that you could get it with a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 4. Maybe for America, we could also see the 2.5 liter Skyactiv G Turbo as the front engine rear wheel drive entry level setup here. They also mentioned the diesel turbos, which of course we wouldn't be getting. Again, they reiterate that they expect a release date for the Mazda 6 is after 2025. So the Mazda CX-70 will come out in 2024. And so this Mazda 6 could be on the docket for 2025. And who knows when the Mazda 3 will get redesigned and the Mazda Miata at this point. It's a big guessing game with those cars. I think the CX-5 is supposed to get a redesign in 2026 or 2027. So that's going to be really long in the tooth before that's redesigned as well. All right, heading over to the Land Cruiser Mini. Costs less than $4 million. We're going to talk about potential pricing for this thing today. And is the official name Landhopper? Well, we know Landhopper is actually trademarked. You know, scrolling through Toyota's trademarks here, we have some interesting ones like the LX700H, which that's the expected iForce Max powertrain, Crown Signia. Rumors are swirling around, different Crown models being named Crown Signia. We also have all the BZ stuff. I just reviewed the BZ4X, but there's supposedly a BZ4C, which would probably be a car or a coupe, BZ3C, etc. Landhopper was trademarked in August of this year. So maybe we get a Landhopper pretty soon coming out of Toyota as an off-roading vehicle. Back to Best Car right now. They are saying that it's likely to be called Landhopper. Let me know down below if we get the mini Land Cruiser here in the United States. What do you think of it being called Landhopper? Is that too cutesy for you? Is it not masculine enough for you? I'm not even going to try to attempt to come up with a name for the baby Land Cruiser right now. They're saying the body size is similar to the Corolla Cross, which is the TNGA-C platform. Of course, it's going to be much taller than the Corolla Cross, and it's going to look a lot like the Land Cruiser 250, just kind of shrunken down, which I think a lot of people will be okay with. The new Lexus GX 550 looks amazing, and the new Land Cruiser looks pretty sick as well, especially with the circular headlights. Okay, so let's get into powertrains. So this is kind of interesting. They don't know what kind of powertrains are going to be in here for which market. They're saying a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated and hybrid for the Corolla Cross. We wouldn't see something like that here in the United States. They completely ditched that engine, the naturally aspirated for the Corolla. This is going to be a bigger, heavier vehicle. The 1.8 liter we see on actually the Corolla Hybrid, but that's too underpowered for our market. But we could see a 2 liter hybrid with 196 horsepower all-wheel drive or dual motor. Essentially dual motors is actually 3 motor, but there's 2 main drive motors, one in the front, one in the back on Toyota's hybrids with the gasoline engine, roughly 200 horsepower, or we could get up to about 240 horsepower hybrid that we see on the RAV4 and tons of other Toyota K platform vehicles. So this would be a K platform sort of powertrain going into a C platform sized vehicle, which I don't think we've seen that sort of situation going on from a Toyota car before. Potentially a 1.5 liter turbo hybrid. That would probably, it's hard to say. Is it going to be rear wheel drive bias, all wheel drive with a transfer case, or should you say 4-wheel drive at that point? It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. But for our market and maybe for other markets around the world, maybe it's going to be a battery electric. We know Toyota showed the concept of this as a battery electric vehicle. And if that's the case, the price isn't going to be around 3 million yen. 3 million yen, I'll just put a 0 here, is about 20,000 US dollars. Now, that's for the Japanese market. The Prius that is sold there is way less expensive than the Prius we get here. It's the same car if you're comparing 2 liter to 2 liter. So it would probably start, my guess would be $30,000. Instead of $20,000 here in the United States. But they say it goes all the way up to 38 million yen or 3.8 million yen, which would be about $25,000 equivalent, which means the price would probably range from $30,000 up to about $37,000, somewhere around there. Now, if they did bring it to America as a hybrid, we look at the Corolla Cross hybrid where this is priced, you could say, upper 20s. So this vehicle being more desirable in a lot of ways is going to easily start at $30,000, if not more, and go maybe up to the upper 30s, maybe $40,000. We'll have to see. But if it's a battery electric vehicle, you can kiss a $30,000 price tag goodbye, I would assume. I would assume it would start at $40,000 and top off around $50,000. That's kind of where the BZ4X is, but they could also charge more for it if they wanted to. And maybe they're calling it a hopper because when you come down from your ride, you got to charge it back up instead of cruising around with a much more range that you would have on a gas or a hybrid vehicle. So maybe the hopper is insinuating battery electric. I don't know. I'll see you guys down below on that. Final thoughts here on the Mazda 6 is that it more than likely be the 8-speed auto. Don't get your hopes up for a 6-speed manual in here. Don't get your hopes up for a liftback either. But I think we can get pretty excited for an inline 6, mild hybrid more than likely as the base powertrain, and then potentially a boosted version with 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, I think is what it is. And there could also be a plug-in hybrid variant of it as well, which would be pretty interesting because there's not, I mean, you would have to go to a German manufacturer to get a front engine rear-wheel drive bias setup as a plug-in hybrid. A lot of the BMWs come to my mind. So I got to shut it down there. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it and made it this far, I appreciate you. Hit the like button and subscribe for more upcoming Mazda news. Man, sedans, they're not as numerous as they used to be. We don't have a lot of selection. And a new Mazda 6 would definitely bring a lot of fun and competition into the shrinking sedan market, unfortunately. But bring it back, Mazda. Make it happen. We want to see it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day and peace.